Thank you. Welcome to the Town of Pownal Board of Health meeting, August 18th, 2021 at 6:30. Call to order, approval of agenda, emergency health order, public comment, 5 adjourn. Can I entertain a motion to accept?
Make a motion, we accept the agenda.
Second.
I need a board, oh no, that's right, you're all right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Emergency health order.
You gotta do roll call because Bob's
Oh,
on.
that's right, Bob. I'm sorry. I forgot you're on Zoom. We need to do roll call.
I'm sorry about that, everybody.
That's okay. No big
That's all right,
deal.
Bob. I just want to make sure we're right.
All right. So Mike,
Aye.
Bob,
Aye.
Ronnie,
Aye.
Angie, aye. Thank you,
Fred?
everybody.
Aye.
Fred, aye. We
Fred?
already,
What the hell?
Fred's on our board of health.
sorry.
It's
Fred.
all right. I just want to make sure we're correct. That's all.
I'm
Just
out
help
of
you.
whack, Fred. You got me all confused.
I got y'all confused. What, those pictures last week?
Yeah, pretty much.
When she come in here, I can tell already.
Okay. Emergency health order. So who would like to start?
I'll start.
Okay.
After the health officer brought this to our attention last week, this particular piece of property, we felt it necessary to have a Board of Health meeting. And so I'm shooting from the hip here, so bear with me. It's my opinion, and hopefully it's everybody else's opinion, is to move forward with condemning this piece of property and making sure that we cross our T's and dot our I's, and we're going to have to go through the town attorney to make sure that we do this correctly, to make sure that all the liens and everything are filed on this particular piece of property, and make sure that they're filed in the correct places and to the correct people. But I think it's appropriate for us at this time, for the Board of Health, per our health officer's inspection and photographic evidence that he provided with us last week, that this piece of property be condemned and cleaned up and torn down. And I think it's our job to move forward with it legally and responsibly. And I'm prepared to move forward after some public comment with that. And I think in all fairness tonight, Angie, I don't want to tell you how to do this, but I think in all fairness, we probably we don't want to limit public comment to 3 minutes.
Oh, God, no.
Right. I'm telling you your job.
No, this isn't a regular
Right,
meeting.
right. So, I just don't think it would be fair.
Nope.
I also don't think we should get into a huge debate back and forth on anything. I think we listen to facts and we form our opinion as the Board of Health on factual information, and not a big debate back and forth with anybody, no matter what.
I agree with you.
Just my opinion.
This has been ongoing.
I agree. I was gonna ask for permission to meet with the attorney, with Rebecca, and discuss all the legal things here. I reached out to VLCT,
Okay, good.
and the lawyer that got back to me was of the belief that, he don't think that the health officer or the select board acting as a Board of Health can condemn the property.
Who does he think needs to do it? The state?
Other things I read in support forum for health officers is that there is no avenue for condemnation in the state, really. It's a word I've seen a lot, but I've seen no evidence of anything in Pownal actually going through any kind of process and being condemned. And just what I'm getting from other sources is that there is no such thing as condemning.
Did you check with anybody in Bennington by any chance,
I haven't.
Fred? Because I think
This
Bennington.
is all just hot off the press.
I understand. I think I'm not 100% positive, but I believe that Bennington has, condemned properties in the past.
Oh, yeah,
You know, I don't know how they do it, and I'm sure that, we could reach out to them.
Right.
And they would, you know, Dan Monks is the zoning administrator as well as the assistant town manager.
Yeah.
I'm sure Dan would help us out.
Right.
And I could
Yeah.
reach out to Dan on that,
Yeah.
but I just, you know, so I appreciate that. That's great information.
Yeah.
But I know they have
But
done that.
definitely, it's like, what I got from them was enough to make me want to talk with the attorney, with Rebecca, ask all the questions we can. I've been trying to build a timeline for how this happened, everything that happened that created this mess. So I got more questions than I have answers, and I think it's at this point where I want to ask the lawyer a few things.
Okay.
I'd like to wonder what the state has to do with this business. The state regulate these trailer parks? Is there any regulations for trailer parks, or they just run wild like crazy fish? I mean, you're renting properties to people. If things aren't being kept up to snuff, there should be some reclaim right away, not, 3-4 years down the road, right away. Because I know in the trailer parks that I worked in 5 of them for a lot of years. They never ran like that. They got rid of people. And New York State's a little different maybe. But in New York, they gave them eviction notices. I was there when they told them. The day before Thanksgiving, they kicked the guy out. Said, here, you're out of here. They told me to be there to unhook the water and the sewer. So I know that does happen in New York State. So I'm sure Vermont must have something. And I'm sure that rather than getting our feet all wet, jumping all over the place, we got a guy here that ain't got any money for his water for a couple of years for that one particular home and things like that. I mean, I think that we ought to find out what the obligations are for these parks through our lawyer or somebody and get it over with, get it done.
Right.
Right. And I agree, Ronnie. I mean, I'm not here to say we're going to bring somebody in there tomorrow and tear this place down and clean it up, because we can't do that. What we need to do is exactly what you said. We need to find out what we need to do, exactly what Fred said, so that we can get Pownal Fire District number 2, right, Mark?
Yep.
Okay, and Mark Smith is here from Pownal Fire District number 2. I'm not sure what your title is, but
Chairman.
you're chairman, okay. I know they have, and I won't speak for you. You can certainly speak for what you have going on in that particular place. So if you want to talk about what you have, Mark, that's fine.
In this particular issue, this gentleman, his water was shut off at one point so he could make a repair, which he never did. But since that point on, it's been over 2 years since he's had water at all. So he resided there in excess of 2 years with no water.
So does he owe money to the district?
We had shut him off, but he still has to make bond payments. So yeah, he still owes money. He's in arrears of $1,202.36.
Okay, because there's also taxes owed. Do we know if he was behind in sewer? Well, that was part of the part.
Right, I'm sure.
Presume he was. If he wasn't paying his water, I'm sure he wasn't paying no sewer.
So his taxes would only be on the trailer. And I know that they were behind.
Well, no, I'm sure he owes taxes because I think Ellen had a tax sale on that piece of property that nobody bid on. I'm pretty positive of that. That there was a tax sale that nobody just had any interest in. Why would they? So I think, I think not to drag this out all night long, but I think at this point, I think the Board of Health needs to, like Ronnie said, I think we need to explore all avenues, but I think we need to move forward with this and not drag it out forever. It came to us a few months ago. We discussed it a little bit, whatever. But I think now it's time to just move forward and get this place cleaned up, whatever it takes to get it done. And I think unfortunately, There's gonna have to be liens placed against it. I believe, I'm not a lawyer, but I think the town's probably gonna have to foot the bill and place some liens against it for what's going on.
I reached out to the number that you gave me.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah. That's what we got for a quote.
Perfect. Thank you, Fred. So we might as well make this public. We do have a quote, from a demolition company out of North Adams, Mass, Hilltown Demolition. And we'll enter this into evidence or minutes or whatever. For the demolition of the debris, of the mobile home and the contents and the outside, for $5,800, which I think is,
That's reasonable.
I think it's reasonable.
Very reasonable.
Look at that, and I don't want to spend money on this, but I don't want anybody living down there because and Fred, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's just breeding disease and I'm sorry, it's breeding disease. And we can't allow that as a,
And there's a rat issue, and I went down there with. the-
rats are one thing.
But, right.
It's just rats are one thing. But the disease and from the pictures, it just disgusted me. And I think as a select board member, myself personally, I think it's my duty to get this mess cleaned up. However, whatever it takes to do it legally and do the right way.
Mike, did you say that quote, pardon me, did you say that quote included removal of everything, right?
Yes, Bob. Demolition of the mobile home, contents, and the outside debris.
All right. Yeah, thank you. Thanks.
And I had asked two previous, when I was looking at it a couple months ago, and it was around that same price, $6,000 to remove everything.
Yeah.
And we had reached out to some local contractors,
They're just too busy, right?
and they're too busy and it's hard for them to get involved in a local situation, in this kind of situation as well. So, I think this is
That's a specialty. I mean, that's what they specialize in.
right. This company, this is what they specialize in. I actually gave Fred their number. They had contacted me as a zoning administrator about a, demolition that they were doing, on Hidden Valley Road. Really wanted to know whatever they needed for permits from the town. Just seemed like a really up and up business to me, from all the questions that they asked me as a zoning administrator. They just weren't going to go in and tear things apart. They wanted to know what they needed to do and how to do it the right way. So that's why I gave Fred their number to contact, them. I felt that they're a pretty reputable company. Just from the phone conversations with them.
Same here.
Very professional.
Okay.
That's all well and done, but I want to hear from an attorney or somebody. Where does the park stand? How does this stand out? Do we do this from here on in for the 50 or 100 mobile homes that are going to be deleted in the next 10, 15 years? Or what happens? Because I got to pay for this, like the rest of us. We all got to pay for it.
No,
I want to pay for it.
right. I don't either, Ronnie. But on the flip side of this, so these mobile home parks, in my opinion, and maybe I'm wrong, but in my opinion, all of these mobile home parks are worth money to somebody
Sure
down the
they
road
a
somewhere.
lot of money.
That's right. They're worth a lot of money. And I know that as a zoning administrator, there's some things in our zoning bylaws that I can start pushing into the parks. And I think Fred and I can work really well together on this. And we can go ahead and we can, I don't really want to use the word attack, but I think that's probably not a bad term to use at this point. We can attack those.
Be active, definitely be active.
That's right. We can, there you go, active, much better term. I think Fred and I can work together and the Board of Health. And I think we can go ahead and be very active on a lot of these properties in the other parks. And I think I'm willing to do that. And I'm sure Fred is. We haven't talked about it. It's been kind of a little bit stressful doing some other stuff, but I think we're ready to do it. I do think that they are worth some money. And I think our money although we have to spend it up front, our money is recuperable. We can recover the money from new owners down the road because let's face it, somebody's coming in to buy those parks. Somebody is coming in. So whether it's today or 5 years or 3 months or whatever, somebody's going to come in and buy those parks. And if we put a lien against the park and whatever, the park owner now,
Lien thing, I don't understand that at all. But I do know that in Bennington, they enforce the rules. And I know in New York State, they enforce the rules. You got a mess, they make you clean it up.
right,
They'll clean it up and they bill you back.
Right.
But you're gonna pay for it or you're gonna be out of there.
And that's-
Take your pick.
and I think-
That's how it works. And I'm sure that this state, I know we're liberal. I know we love everybody that doesn't have anything. I know that's what we are. But still in all, we can't just take it all from the people in the middle. Because the rich people ain't gonna pay for that. You know, even the water district ain't gonna pay for that. They're not gonna accept that
Water
shit.
district can't afford it.
That's right. You can't. Nobody can.
Well, a lot of my research on this thing is focused on figuring out how it happened and figuring out how to make sure it doesn't happen again. And that brought me to the bylaws, the zoning bylaws.
Right.
There are definitely some things in there that,
there's things we can do.
it seems like they must have been ignored.
I don't disagree with you, Fred. Nope, not at all. I don't
Not from
disagree.
you, but from the,
Well, and I
from
mean,
the landlord.
And I've been in there, you know, I mean, look, I'm going to take some responsibility for it because I've been in the position almost 2 years. I guess it has been 2 years now, right? Whatever it is. And I haven't done my job as far as that goes as much as I should have. But it's time we change that. And it is time we change it. And I was in one of the other parks the other day last week looking at the one of the pump stations, the wastewater pump station, and yes, it's time. It's time we enforce, it's time we make the park owners responsible. And if that, Ronnie, I think you're absolutely correct. If we have to bill the park owner because they're not taking care of the trash and what's going on, then that's what we do.
That's what'll have to happen right away.
That's right.
As far as I'm concerned.
No, you're absolutely correct. And I think,
Hey, anybody that's selling them any services, I mean, already water district's into them for quite a bit of money. I mean, what are they gonna do? Wait 5 more years? Price of water district will be out of business by the time they pay. We can't do that. It can't happen.
No.
It has to be some way through the state and all these district attorneys and lawyers. There has to be a proper way. Down in New York State, you'd go in front of the judge and you would explain it to him. And the judge would say, look, we're giving you a notice. Here you are. You're out of there.
well, I think,
So many days,
No.
period.
no, that's right. And I think that right now I'm pretty confident in our ability as the Board of Health. Fred and I'm pretty confident that we can set Megan on this task of finding out what's available, you know, between us to find out what avenues we can go through the state and what we can help. I'm sure she can, you know, go at this and really we can almost prioritize this because that's what it is. It's a priority to get this taken care of. In my mind, it's got to be up towards the top of the list. All of it.
Number one question I have, I don't know a lot about it, is the term grandfathering. Is that something that's coming back to haunt us? In this particular case,
I don't know if there's anything in there that was grandfather garbage
Yeah.
and
Right,
debris,
right. Oh,
and,
yeah,
you know, and
yeah.
zoning violations
right,
and,
yeah.
you know, I really don't know that.
General feeling like.
You can't just back people up and say, well, look, your grandfather, you had that in there 20 years
Right,
ago.
right,
That don't work.
yeah.
No.
But it seems to be like, that's a general belief to a lot of people that we're grandfathered, so we don't have any regulation
Right.
of any kind.
They're not grandfathered in, so.
But I did go through some of that, what is it, the health officer manual?
Yes.
And I'm sure Fred, you did too. It's, but it is ambiguous as can be. It is.
It
The word
is.
condemn. I did a search too. The word condemn does not exist in the entire manual.
Right.
So, just my 2 cents is, there's got to be a way through it. And even the statutes that you link to it, I looked at some of the statutes and they're ambiguous too and can be interpreted multiple ways. So I think whatever we do, I think we need to make it clear to our town attorney what our intent is, what our desire is to take care of this issue as quickly as possible, expeditiously as possible, get it taken care of, and set it in such a way that we're not setting this up to be a recurring event with other parks and with other properties, and to get it and how do we get it billed? I don't think anybody on this call can answer all of those questions. They look to be things for our town attorney. This is what we have them for. That's my 2 cents.
Right, Bob?
I agree with the town attorney thing. Let's find out where we stand and let's move forward. Just throwing it around and talking about liens and assets and all that stuff. Find out what the lawyer says. Maybe the state's responsible for some of this. How do we know? They're giveaway people. They love to give money away.
Right.
Give everything away. Let's give it away there. There's a good spot. Clean something up.
I mean, I'm prepared to make a motion at this point, but I think, for the Board of Health, but I think we should open public comment
Yes.
first
Yeah.
and then listen, because I think as the Board of Health, we're all on the exact same page on which direction to go in here next. So, you know, we haven't discussed it other than right here, right now. So, but my gut is telling me that we're all on the same page.
Okay, so we're gonna open up to public comment. Please remember to state your full name. Megan, is there anybody out there? Please raise your hand and then state your full name.
Mindy Joe?
Hey,
Go ahead, Mindy.
Mindy Joe Harrington.
Good
I can
evening.
answer
I said good evening.
Good evening. I can answer a lot of your guys' questions on how this happened, why it happened. Okay. You can't, and the condemn, the word condemn. Okay. I can explain that to you too, if you're willing to listen. It happened when Scott and Kathy moved from Alta Gardens because they did the same thing down there as they did here.
Mindy Joe, can you just not, Mindy, can you please just not use names?
Yes, ma'am, I'm very sorry. Yes,
All right.
ma'am, that was my bad. I'm very, very sorry. I apologize.
All right, thank
So
you.
Anyway, the same thing happened in Alta Gardens that happened here. We actually had a gentleman go down and clean it up a couple years ago. And another neighbor told me he was wasting his time. Anywho, I complained back then and it all fell on deaf ears. This is before you guys even came in the picture. All right, the word condemn. You can condemn a home that is rented, that is somebody else's property, because the people living in it are not the owners. So therefore, like if I owned a trailer and was renting it out and everything was bad, the state or the health officer could come in and condemn it and make me do everything. However, when you own a home, you have the choice of fixing that home or living in it as is. That's where the confusion comes in, but that's how it's always been in Vermont. It's how it is in Bennington. It's how it is in every little town. If you own the home, it can't be condemned unless it's a rental because you're choosing to live that way. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
Okay, that's actually when you start digging, there is law on that. It's just how you word it. And as far as holding the owners responsible, I agree 110,000%. However, the situation that this particular one is in, there's a lot more involved in it. Okay. You know, I didn't even move up until this one until 2019. You know what I mean? And I started complaining way back when the original owner was still here. Both of them, as a matter of fact. The other thing is in order to sell a mobile home at a tax sale, the town has to take possession of it. Correct? I mean, that's how I'm reading everything on it. So once you took possession,
No, but
you have to take possession of it. The town can, the people of the town, if they don't sell at a tag sale, it just don't sell. That's period. town
Okay,
has-
so then the problem arises on how did the former residents of that particular spot get into where they're at? Because in order to, they can't possess any property, land, cabin, trailer, house, or otherwise. So
We
this
can't-
is really confusing me.
We can't speak for that.
I understand that, but if you guys didn't take possession of it, now it doesn't make any sense. I just wish somebody could make this all make sense.
I don't think we can make sense of it. I think we just need to move forward and try to get this rectified.
Well, I understand that as well. Although I also feel like, I mean, I just barely started taking control of this place July. I've sent out leases, okay? That particular lot, I don't know who to send it to. I sent you all an email and nobody ever responded to it. Nobody answered it whatsoever. Okay. The other part is, oh my goodness. Now I just lost track of thought. I had a list. Oh my goodness. Anyway, I just think a lot of this could be settled with actually helping, you know, instead of just demanding. In the lease, they have to take down the swimming pools, they have to clean their yards, they have to pay their rent on time, you know, and that's not easy in this particular spot. I literally, out of the 10 leases I sent out, I only got 4 back because nobody else wants to even, and that's another problem. And that's a whole nother set of laws and rules. But in order for me to accomplish what I need to accomplish, I need a little, support from my local government, my local, you know, my local select board, Department of Health, because there's going to be other issues. This is not going to be fixed overnight. That is one thing you guys are all 100% factual on. You know, because it didn't happen overnight. It literally only took, what, 5 years, if that, for that mess to be created. And it was cleaned up once in between.
Okay.
You know, I would really like some support from you guys, whether it be moral support or, you know, when I come to you, you know, don't shut me down, don't shut me up, don't, you know, because I felt really awkward the last select board meeting. Mr. Gardner made me feel really uncomfortable, which set my damn PTSD right off the map, you know, when giving me a time limit when I've never heard of it before. You know,
I'm
and then
sorry, there isn't.
nobody had their hand raised when that other gentleman actually did. I didn't know how to until this meeting. You know, and I put that all in that email to you guys and nobody responded. Remember, Mike, you said, or Mr. Gardner, you said it was all respondable. You would respond because you did last time over my wrong choice of words, but that's the only part of the email that you answered. That's not supporting anybody. That's just blah, blah, blah. That's not being supportive. That's my opinion. That's how I feel. I can make this place a good place if I got the moral support to do it and the backup when these people won't do what they're supposed to do. Do you understand what I mean? Like if the dogs keep running free, I call animal control. I know beyond a shadow of a doubt, animal control is going to come do something about it. If I get a hold of the select board and say, oh, okay, now we need this place cleaned up, these people are not complying, who do I turn to get that done? I'm the executor, you know what I mean? That means I got complete control. However, they're still going to take help into enforcing these laws, bylaws, and whatnots. I've been doing nothing but homework, trust me. No, I need your guys' support and I need your guys' help to also straighten this park out. You know, just like investigating how to take down the house. I got to have the health officer come over and go through it for asbestos. I have the paperwork already printed out for him to fill out. However, as long as there's a lien on the house, I can't come down. As long as there's liens for water on any trailer, nothing can be done there either. So it's like running into brick walls over a problem I didn't create, yet I'm tackling it. Somebody had to. I appreciate your time, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mindy, Joe, I'll respond to you a little bit. For sure. I'm not gonna debate. That's definitely not gonna happen, but I think Fred and I have sat here tonight and we have said that, as the zoning administrator, as the health officer, and two members of the Board of Health, which we are. Me being on the select board as far as that. So I think we're going to get at this, whether it's your park or one of the other parks.
It was my park.
No, I'm not. I mean, the park you live in. Sorry, the one you're executive of state. I didn't mean it figuratively. Sorry. Whether it's the park that you're the executor of, whether it's one of the other parks in town, whether it's a house on any one of the given roads in town, or a mobile home. I think we have sat here tonight and said that it's our duty and our job to stop this from happening no matter where it is.
And I agree with you. I'm not debating with you.
Right.
However, I'm not being given any time whatsoever. And I'm feeling like it's all going to fall down onto my head because I just barely stepped into this position. There's more to this. I'm not going to go into it with you guys because there's no reason to. But believe me, there's a lot of people hindering anything happening in here. Trust me, I might have bit off more than I can chew, but I'm not a quitter because failure is not an option here. This is my home. I've spent my home for 9 years and it's worth fighting for. It's just, I got 4 people willing to, to sign leases and do as need to, and the other, however many, will not. And that isn't even counting the other deal that I went to ask about, and I've actually contacted the state to find out about that because that's one powerful person there, and which is causing a lot more headaches also that people don't understand. You know what I mean? There's a lot to this. And in order to do anything, first and foremost, we got to start getting people to respond to paying rent after not having to for 17 months. Nobody's happy about that. Well, a couple people because they want to be able to pay where they live. However, you know what I mean? I feel like it's all going to come down on me and I'm not even been given a chance. I'm going to have somebody coming at me, barking orders at me instead of just making me part of it and having a conversation. Because I want this cleaned up more so than anybody except for the one sitting next to me. And she's been here a couple years longer than me. She wants to see it cleaned up too. And she's one hard-working woman. You know what I mean? There's people that live in these parks that work their butts off, but got to be given a chance and make us part of the cleanup and not just come and demanding at us because the good people of this park want to do it too. They want it cleaned up and they don't mind helping. I mean, coming and barking orders that's not going to help, and just saying.
All right,
Good enough.
thank you. Mike, were you done?
Yeah.
Okay. So, is there anybody else out there, Megan, with their hand raised?
Yep, Jim.
Please state your full name.
James Winchester, 630 Scarborough Road.
Good evening, Jim.
In my history, I've seen this one time, okay, in a long time. It was a tax sale in the Alta Trailer Park, and the selectmen went in and viewed it and decided this was junk. So they just more or less took it away. And luckily, there's not been too much of that. But you can see what's going on here. As Mike said, these spots are valuable. They're almost $400 a month, okay? 3 something. And somebody's gonna pick them up. And abandoned trailers are pretty hard to find, especially when they're junk. And people just walk away or they pass away. For years and years, they've traded trailers, sold trailers, never went to the town office, never recorded them. It's been a mess for a long time. And I think you guys are the guys that can handle it, really and truly. It's listen to Mindy Joe. It's, hey, she's trying to do something, but it's gonna be a huge mess. And it's gonna cost a lot of money. And the people that own these parks, the two parks already, making a lot of money, a lot of money. I'll leave you on that. Good luck.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you, Jim.
Yep.
Megan, anybody else? That's it? Okay.
Mark, do you have anything you want to add to this before we move forward?
The only thing I have to add in this particular case is that if this does get restructured, that their water bills should be taken over by the owner or whoever's responsible, like the other parks are. As the state of Vermont says, it's the landlord's
Responsibility.
responsibility to provide water for tenants.
Right.
So
Okay.
That's what he's selling them.
that's
Water and
correct.
sewer.
That's correct.
Is that-
Water, sewer, and a property lot. Yeah.
Who, and maybe you don't know the answer to this question, maybe it's something that we need to research out. Who would be the one to make that change? Would it be the landlord? Would it be, your fire district?
It would have to be the ownership of the park.
The ownership of the park? Okay. So, and if the ownership of the park didn't do that, then it would probably fall back on the state to make the ownership of the park responsible.
I would say.
Okay,
Yes, yes.
okay, and that's something we can research out, Megan, please? Along with some of the other things I'm gonna give you to do?
That's the way it is with apartment buildings.
Right,
The
right,
landlord is responsible for the water and sewer.
okay.
Right, because they're collecting money from the residents that are in the parks.
Yep.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you, Mark, for that.
Are you,
Some trailer parks in New York State, they're even, the owner of the park even pays the taxes.
well, they parks here do.
Rent.
Right.
Included anywhere around here that I know of.
No, I mean,
But it is in New York.
the land tax,
Huh?
the land
No, they're
tax
paying
on the property.
They're paying the tax on the building,
Right.
home.
On the mobile home as well as the property.
Oh, okay, I see what you're
They
saying.
assess the people, whatever it is.
I see what you're
This is
saying.
what you were assessed, you pay so much besides your, and that is the proper way to actually run it.
Mm-hmm.
Then you're running it like an apartment.
Right,
Here you are, we're supplying you with something, you pay something. That's how it works.
Okay.
The stuff we're dancing around, we got, well, you collect the, you pay the water guy when he comes around, or you pay the sewer guy or something. You can't do that.
no,
No, I agree.
Like I said, we take a big responsibility with these taxes. We should drop that on the mobile home park. They don't like me to hear me say that, but it's the truth.
Sometimes the truth hurts, Ronnie.
You know, it isn't a big amount of money, and they just add it on every month. Here it is. It's another $60 or whatever a month. Well, that's that much more you pay, or $80 or $100, whatever it is.
right.
Do you have anything you want to add, Fred? Are you,
No, I, like, it goes along with what I was looking at in the bylaws. Rubbish.
right,
removal.
I know that's in there. I know that's in there. That's right. I know that's in there. I just haven't read a whole lot more in depth into it, and I definitely don't know what the new bylaws state as far as this goes that we've adopted. So we have to definitely go to those.
Collecting all those, for the landlord to collect all those things, including the taxes. Definitely check with a lawyer.
Right.
Talk to the lawyer about that.
Right. And that's,
The
So-
water, sewer, and rubbish, that's in the bylaws already.
right.
But the taxes, I think that's a good question to ask the
Right.
attorney.
Okay.
Okay,
Lot rents will have to go up.
Sure they do.
It's,
But
It's cost of living.
It's
You're gonna pay it anyway.
solving problems, and
we can't
Being
continue, we can't continue to let
this happened.
this happen. It's our responsibility to, start to curb this, no matter how we look at it. We're not gonna fix it and we're not gonna stop it, but we're gonna start to curb it and we're gonna change. Hopefully we can change this trend. And I think that's what we're all here for. So I'm gonna wing a motion here. I move that the Board of Health pursue the legal cleanup of this particular piece of property in question, which is, we've got it on here, sorry. just want to make sure we have the legal address. Thank you, Mark. That the Board of Health, the Board of Health pursue the legal cleanup inside and outside of lot number 668 Lincoln Street, Pownal, via our attorney and researching through the state of Vermont legally what we can and cannot do, and that
Okay, after he's
well,
done.
when I'm done with my motion, that's fine. And with our health officer, along with our board liaison, town agent, doing the research on this and then bring it back to the Board of Health. Because I think it has to come back to the Board of Health, not the
It does.
select board.
Yep.
Come back to the Board of Health. And we also have a letter, if it needs to go to the Board of Abatement. Whatever the next steps are, I move that we move forward with cleaning this up. And whatever steps need to be taken is basically what it is. Through our attorney, through our board liaison, through the state, with our health officer working on this. And in a timely fashion, sooner rather than later. I don't want to drag this out.
I second. Any other discussion?
I want the state to be involved, period.
But that's in my motion. That's right, Ronnie. I agree with you. We'll just find out where the state stands on this.
How they stand.
That's right.
Didn't I give you both names of the woman and of the state lawyer there for the trailer parks? I gave you both.
Ones that help people.
Right, but
Tenants buy the parks.
Okay, well, he could probably give you the revenue of where you need to go and who you need to speak to for moving forward with what we can or cannot do.
And we were gonna consult with Mr. Fisher.
Well, yes, Mr. Fisher as well, but the gentleman's name that I gave you is for parks, and he knows all the state regulations and rules, okay?
Yep.
All right, so we have a motion on the table and seconded. Any further discussion? Mike?
Well, I think you need to let
Open
Mindy
it back
Jo.
up for public? Okay.
Let Mindy Jo talk.
All right, go
I think
ahead.
it's fair. I think that's totally fair.
Mindy Jo?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
How, if it, just like with this park, every trailer is owned by somebody, okay? You cannot request their tax money be paid to you to pay the town, because that's not the responsibility of anybody else except for the owner of that place, that property. That would be so unconstitutional, it would be crazy.
That's all I gotta say.
So that is, and that's why we want to go through the attorney,
Yes.
right?
Right.
Through our town attorney.
Right.
Exactly.
I'm just here to tell you, that's probably exactly what he's gonna tell you.
No,
Because if you own it, you know, Bob, if you own your home, all right, but I buy your land, are you gonna give me your taxes on your piece of property?
No, I fully understand the logic in it, and in fact, to support your point, Mindy Jo, looking at the health officer's guide as well, it does make a distinction between rented trailers on a trailer park versus those that are owned and
Yes,
rented
sir.
a lot.
I've done
It makes a
nothing
very
but
clear
homework.
distinction.
I think that's,
Nothing but homework on this, Mr. Jarvis. I probably could tell it
It's
to you
irrelevant
front
to what
to
we're
back
trying to
and
do.
back to front. Because I've been doing nothing but reading on this, on how to straighten this out. That way we can bide our time to find a decent person to buy the place that's got good intentions for the place. My intentions are all good. Because this is my home, I want to live in a nice place. I want to make sure it's taken care of.
And I can tell you that just out of curiosity, we did go down there and didn't get out of the car. but took,
No, I bet not. Pretty scary, ain't it?
but took a look around, and it was kind of sad because you go in a couple of units in is where 68 is. But on the left side, there's right across from it is a fairly well kept and obviously somebody who wants to keep their place.
That's,
out.
yep, that's,
And you've got
that's
somebody out
another good
mowing
one,
a
but then
lawn,
you
you've
come
got
up
kids
another one,
playing.
you've got a bunch of junk, and then you go look across the street, that one's got a fork going on and nothing but junk cars. Then you come up and you got the lady that's sitting next to me, and she's got a beautiful yard, she's got a beautiful garden, flowers. Then you come up, then we got another junkyard just before mine, and then we've got two that pretty much take care of their yards. Do you know what I'm saying? Because I've got nothing but flowers and gardens and all this other stuff.
And that's the, and
You
that's the
can't
prime,
step up onto somebody. I don't know. It's just, I think you guys are in the right direction. I just think barking orders about it is not going to be the right way to do it.
We're not
No,
barking
that's-
orders.
No, no, no,
We're
no. I'm
moving
saying
forward.
no, before, like with the Mr. Gardner was talking about the bylaws and this and that. I mean, what bylaws and this and that are you going to come after who for? Because you're going to have to look up when things were bought to find out what was put at what date when, to even hand anybody any tickets because of how this has been run for so long. So it's kind of like you got to start off with a.
To change that.
I think, Minnie
Yes,
Jo,
and
I think
agree,
we're
but you need
getting,
to-
We're getting off subject here.
I think we're getting off subject a little bit. I think,
It was a subject you brought up into the meeting, sir.
right, but on this motion, we were giving you a chance to comment on our
I
motion.
apologize.
No, that's fine. And I just, I think you have a valid point about the taxes. I think that's probably really difficult. I don't know. I'm not a lawyer.
Well, the other thing is you'd have to give whoever landowner time because you got to give a 30-day notice to raise rent to be able to and that's gonna where your problem's gonna be, because Joe Schmo over here, his taxes are $300, and then item A over here, his taxes are $600. So you got to incorporate everybody a different rate of rent.
Right. So,
How's that gonna work?
and like I said, I think
That
that's,
does work.
I think that's off the subject of our motion. Our motion on the floor, or my motion on the floor, is to pursue the cleanup of this particular piece of property.
And that would be great.
Legally and
Just
following
don't
all of our,
understand why the
following
park
all
should
of our
have to
right
pay
steps.
for it.
I think the rest of it is, well, let me ask you this question, Mindy Jo. If the zoning administrator and the town health officer came down there right now and gave you 30 days to clean that particular piece of property up, are you willing to spend $6,000 to clean it up?
I don't got $6,000, although
That-
I get it. I understand it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and then, I think that's a legitimate question. And I wouldn't, if I was in your position, I wouldn't have the
I
$6,000.
think what it is I think what I'm trying to say is I think it should be a shared expense because the town allowed it to happen just as much as Harvey did. That's a 50-50 thing right there. Y'all knew it was going on because the complaints had come in. I posted it on Final Discussion many times complaining about it, and I know Select Board seen it.
Well, we
Nothing
don't.
got done about it, so that should be thought about
That's
and talked
irrelevant.
about. No, it's not. It should be a shared
Thank goodness
expense, but
that's it.
have a good
Mindy.
night.
Good night, thank you.
No
We have a mo-
compromising from you guys.
We have a motion on the table, please. Thank you. Okay,
We have any more comment?
any more
Megan?
public comment, Megan? All right, thank you. So we have a motion on the table. Mike,
Aye.
Bob,
Aye.
Ronnie,
Aye.
thank you. Fred, I almost called you Jeff. I'm sorry. Angie, aye. Okay. Anything else that we need to discuss? We said in your motion that he could talk with Rebecca in the.
Absolutely. Yep. In my motion, that states that
Yes.
clearly. So,
Yes.
and Megan can research out this with the state. I'm sure she could probably jump right on that tomorrow and get that going, to Ronnie's point, and see where the state stands on that. So if anybody, I don't have any state contacts for this. If you have some, Fred, as a health officer, maybe you can make sure she gets them.
Here, I'll go through the,
If you have a couple, Angie, maybe you could give them to Megan so that she can just jump right in here, both feet hit the ground running and move forward. And then,
Okay.
Mark's lien would go against this, whatever,
Right.
because I think it does have to go
And
through the
Fred,
Board
when
of
you're
Abatement.
talking to the lawyer, please ask him, I'm not sure if I'm correct on this or not. We need to find out if there was any kind of lien left on that
I think,
through a bank or anything.
well, I think that's something that we have to do some research.
Research
He
on.
should know that kind of stuff.
Right.
And Rebecca's I would hope that, I know Fred's gonna work with Rebecca really close on this so
Right.
that.
But
we
I
don't
also
waste
wanted
our
to know
money.
if we had to pay the water, if we were gonna remove, and then it would be part of our lien. So that's what I want you to ask the lawyer, okay?
Right. Any liens that are against us.
Yeah, we're not gonna ask them if we gotta pay for any water bills. We don't do that.
We have to do it legally.
That's right. So if we're gonna do something, you propose a proposition where the selectmen or the town is gonna come up with this money. I don't mind, I want the water department to get their money. But I don't think everybody, Tom, Dick and Harry in the town should be paying it. Okay? That's all there is to it.
Right.
If we gotta shut it down, well, they shut it down.
Well, we haven't,
Whatever happens to happen. That's why we need the lawyer to make his
That's
own
what I'm
decision.
saying. I'm
You
asking
don't
him
need
to
to ask
ask
them
the lawyer
questions.
these questions.
That question is not pertinent, as far as I'm concerned.
It is if we want to remove it and if there's a lien
I
on
just
it.
think we need to know I just think we need to know every single thing that we need to do as the Board of Health and the Select Board of the Town of Pownell to get this piece of property cleaned up. And and at that point, Ronnie, we can discuss whatever liens have to go against it or whatever it is. And that, right now, we can all sit here and say, yup, that, we don't, not one of us knows. Not one of us knows. I would pretty much bet that the $5,800 would be footed by the town and that would go against the piece of property.
That is true because I already spoke to Mr. Fisher about that 3 months ago.
So,
Anything that we put up front to take care of that property,
Right.
a
Other
lien
than
goes
that-
on that property when that property is sold.
other than that, I don't have a clue. And I don't even want to speculate. I just think that we need to move forward with it as fast as we can, to get it taken care of.
Setting a dangerous precedent when you turn around and you're gonna pay somebody else's bill. I don't care
And
if they got money or they ain't got money. When you start paying a bill, then they're gonna say, well, geez, you paid his. How come you don't pay mine? That's a precedent that we don't want to set.
And I agree with you, but we can also not
So
do
now,
anything about this
I
situation.
didn't say we're not gonna do anything about it. I'm just saying, we don't jump at every clue to spend money as far as the town
I'm not
goes.
spending any money.
You will if all right, we put a lien on it. The thing goes forever and never gets sold. Same with these guys. They put a lien on it. It goes forever, never gets sold.
So are we-
They give their water away for another
So do
year.
you
or 2
choose to
years.
ignore it?
You go to the people who got something to say, the people that run these trailer
Ask
parks.
Fred to do.
That's what, yes, and you ask their opinion on everything. Then you're gonna ask them questions.
We're going to agree to disagree on this.
All right, that's fine. I agree to disagree too.
Okay. Any other comments or anything to come before us?
I just want to make the comment that I'm not going to disagree with anybody because everyone's making valuable points. This isn't it's this way or it's that way. These are all the considerations that have to be considered when we're making up our minds on how to move forward. And it's exactly why we need a lot of input from our town attorney.
exactly, but and the state, and
That's right.
this- whoever the governing agency from the state of Vermont is on this. And I think that's what we're asking for. And whatever they come back, whatever recommendations they come back with, that's where we have to discuss it again and go from that point. And I think that's, like I said, I don't think there's anyone in town that could sit here and could come into this meeting right now and tell us exactly what needs to happen. We need to research it out. And I think we have the right people doing it all the way through. And I think we're willing to do it. And I think, I know we're on the right track. I'm 100% positive we're on the right track.
I agree totally, and I just want to make that comment so because it really isn't an agree or disagree with it's not
No.
one point or the other. It is we both have to take care of this situation because it's an untenable situation, but we also have to do it in such a way that it doesn't put a burden and set a precedence that's going to put a financial burden on the town in the long term. We
Exactly.
need a way to handle this that those responsible are actually paying for it but we're getting an expeditious solution. I don't know what the solution is, but those are our goals.
Well said, Bob. That's exactly how I feel. That's exactly what it is.
Well said, Bob. Thank
And
you.
I think, you know, that's what Fred's looking for is the health officer on this. I know it is. I can, you know,
Okay. Can I entertain a motion to adjourn,
move
please?
to adjourn.
Second,
Second.
Mike,
Aye.
Bob,
Aye.
Ronnie,
Aye.
Fred,
Aye.
Angie, I.